Guys and girls, how are you doing today? Single roleplay here once again, and the patch notes are there, and it means it's time to check them out with full details. And these patch notes are usually absolutely massive, and these ones are as big as a 3.7 milli leak patch. There's about 24-26 pages of text, and as usual I have prepared an excerpts of these patch notes for you guys, so we can check out only the most important things. The card is like this. Yellow is the new important reworks, red is nerfed, green is a buff, and purple is a giant buff, a very important thing. Let's go. Before we go further into the video, I would like to stop for a second and thank my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. You guys have no fucking idea how much I'm thankful for you. If you just stop for a second and put likes on this video and share it with your friends, it will be already an insane amount of support, and I will be forever grateful to every one of you. Thank you so much, and remember,
you, yes you, are making a difference.
I would not go over the new skill gems because we will see them in the game. It's pretty pointless to read that shit, to be honest, because we've already talked about some of these during the showcases of the assassin, mines, and whatever, the necromancer. We've seen some of these gems, so I'll go back straight to the point, guys. So a new one base type for the high level summoner characters. This is Convoking Vand, which rolls with plus to all minion gems. Pretty GG. Two new ring base types available in the Atlas. I'm curious to see what these base types are. Now we're going to the mine rebalance. Is a couple of interesting things there. Like I said, all mine skills except those supported by blast chain support now have an aura component that is active while they are placed but not detonated. So when I throw the mine, it makes an aura affecting the enemies. These auras can stack up to a limit and are affected by aura modifiers. This is totally new thing and never to be seen before. So you can have an aura on your mines, and these auras are affected by the tree and all aura modifiers. That's important to know. Mana rebalance. We've also removed the last vestiges of mana leech available to the spellcaster. So we want to be the caster equivalent of the accuracy mana to be something for which a little investment goes a long way to solving the feel of the character. I think this is just bullshit, and I already talked about this in the Balance Manifesto. I think they're pigeonholing us into the classic kind of spellcaster, spellcaster philosophy, like mana flask and no sources of recovery, which is bullshit, because at the same time, guys, attackers can leech everything. They can leech fucking everything from attack damage, and this is just bullshit. Basically, they're killing spellcasters, which are kind of the minority already in the Path of Exile. I don't want to argue a lot about it. I just think this is the wrong way to go. Character balance. You can now have the 15 mines active at once by default. This is an absolutely giant thing, up from 5, guys. This is a big buff. Revokes a freeze mine turn to the icicle mine, which we already saw. 5-hour mine turn to the power class mine. Skill balance. Several damage over time only skills such as Rider's Fire, Contagion, and Death Aura from the Death Self can now break barrels and other objects throughout the world. This is a big thing. Alright, Bone Offering has basically all offering skills has increased their duration and reduced the amount of corpses that you can consume. So the base duration is increased from 3 seconds to 5 seconds, which is actually a big thing. Practically don't need increased duration anymore. This is the same amount of duration that you previously could get with the increased duration gem. Now it's not needed, and with additional corpse consumed, you can prolong this as well. Clarity got a buff as well. Regenerates up to 33%, 33 mana per second in gem level 20. That's pretty big. Contagion has been nerfed. No longer gains additional radius as the gem levels. Previously gained +4 radius by gem level 20. This is because the whole Contagion Essence Drain thing literally affected and cleared the whole Legion encounter, and it was absolutely saw that coming, guys. Convocation has a cooldown by 3 seconds from 4 because the Convocation has been removed from the Necro Ascendancy. Cyclone has been dramatically nerfed. It now is basically has a base range, and rather than range based on a weapon type, and no longer gains additional radius based on the melee range. At the same time, the flat fizz has been dramatically nerfed as well, and overall it's just nothing but the nerf to the Cyclone. It's not dead by all means, it's just back to where it was probably before the big buff, so it hasn't been gone like at all. It's just back to the normal, not this, you know, the whole clearing AoE. Desecrate no longer has cooldown, it's a good thing. Dominating Blow has 25 chance to summon a normal Sentinel of Dominance when you hit a Nick Monster. This is incredibly strong. Summon Sentinels can also use Crusade Slam regardless of their Ascendency. This is very strong. Previously, you can only get it on the Guardian, and literally the only way you can get the Dominating Blow is playing the Guardian. Now you can play it on anything else. Explosive Trap as his damage. Yeah. Alright. Gets an additional radius now. It's very nice. Fire Trap. Fire Trap has been buffed. Overall, all traps has been buffed, guys. And if you're questioning, like, what happened to traps since the mines were buffed, the fucking traps were also buffed, guys. So, traps are still there, and I'll explain you further on what happened with the traps. So Flash Offering has been dramatically buffed as well, with the base duration of 5 seconds up from 3. Flash and Stone, I think it was nerfed as far as I can understand, since you not have on the 6 levels but 20 levels. And enemies maimed get kind of less damage, and Unite take 9% less damage from attacks from non-blind enemies at gem level 1 from 10. So basically it's just the nerf. Ice Shot has been dramatically buffed by adding attack cold damage, and at the same time Lightning Arrow has been buffed by adding flat lightning damage, and also gets chance to shock per quality. And this makes my Lightning Arrow Barrage build, guys, an absolutely fantastic league starter, exactly as I thought. Ice Trap got a radius as well, fantastic. Lightning Golem has the damage dealt by the lightning projectile increase, but the arcs has been nerfed. Race Spectre has been dramatically reworked and now is not defined by the corpse level, now it's defined by the gem level. It gains accuracy as well, but no longer modifies the life's energy shield or damage of the minion. The real problem with the Spectres now is that, as I later will go down this list, and I will show you that Vis Mortis and Bones of Ulur has been nerfed as well. You can't get extra Spectres anymore, and the only way to get extra Spectres now is just one Spectre on the tree, and literally like just the Spectres from the gem level of the Spectre gem, which is 2 Spectres at level 20. But how can we get the 3rd Spectre is a big question. I honestly have no idea now. No one knows. And there's no way to know except when you get this extra high Spectre gem. I think this is a big nerf to Spectres. Raise Zombies. Now grants minions more life as the gem levels, up to 38% more at gem level 20. Cooldown recovery from the zombie slam attack as the gem levels up to level 76. Previously I had nothing. Previously it was all the Necromancy Ascendancy. Now it's on the skill gem. At the same time you can level up to 7 zombies except for the 3 of them. But the problem is that the zombie threshold jewel is no more once again, and zombies took a big hit. I think it was a wrong idea, and the violent dead doesn't drop anymore. I don't know why they did this. I think that nerf zombies pretty hard, and I'm really curious to see what the zombie mancer builds will be doing right now, because without the violent dead it will be dramatically hard to reach the same numbers of the damage as it had with the gem. Reckoning, guys, my Reckoning Cyclone build has been dramatically nerfed, even though the base damage has been increased by around 20%, but the flat added fizz damage, which was basically a flat fizz on the gem level, has been dramatically nerfed. Absolutely crazy. So it literally has been decreased by like 60%. So I'm really curious how much of an impact it will be, assuming that Fizzbreaker increased that damage by 800%. but literally by 8 times, right? So how much of this damage is left on the Reckoning itself is really hard to tell, but you know, the build will still live because the Cyclone still does about 4 million Sheeper damage, so even with Reckoning will deal like 50% of the damage, it still is an absolutely viable build no matter what. It'll still have, it just was absolutely ridiculous, and now it probably gets back to something like a normal levels. That's it. Rider's Fire has been reworked, now deals base fire damage instead of basically no fire damage per second. It was absolutely relied on the maximum life. So it's less reliable on the maximum life. It's actually a good thing. Riposte once again has been nerfed. Just the same, the retaliation attack has been nerfed pretty hard. They obviously looked my videos, guys. They obviously saw them, and they decided to nerf everything. Stone Golem Slam attack now has a cooldown of 4 seconds and deals approximately 30% more damage to all gems. Stone Golem is fucking stronger now. Still pretty not viable, I guess. Scorching Ray has been nerfed as well. I wonder why. What's the reason to nerf Scorching Ray? No fucking idea. So Spectral Shield for all projectiles from the shield explosion carry with them the projectile properties of the original shield projectiles behavior at the point of the explosion. This was very important for things such as Gloom Effect or Point Black, which care about chain count on the distance that projectile has traveled. This is actually very good for my old Spectral Shield throw build. Spirit Nothing once again has been duration increased up to 5 seconds from 3. Spirit Split Arrow has been buffed. Who the fuck cares? Summon Raging Spirit. This is a big thing. Has been the intelligence has been increased. Now they actually target where you are pointing, except for being absolutely random in all directions. This is a big thing. I can't wait to check the new improved Summon Raging Spirit. The Skeletons now summon 2 Skeleton Warriors per cast up from 1, and we summon up to 3 skeletons at once at gem level 20, and at the same time the max limit of the skeletons has been increased up to 8 from 5, so literally like 50% more skeletons, like 40, 30, 50% more skeletons. That's a big thing. Vengeance nerfed as well. Eval Immortal Call has been nerfed, now prevents soul gain while active, and this is mostly for the standard characters which actually have the Eval Immortal Call, and these guys ran like 4,000 depths because of the Eval Immortal Call, and now it's gone. Remote Mine Support, and now called as Blast Chain Mine Support, and supported skills now deal 5% more damage for each prior mine to in detonation sequence. That's why it is very important to detonate them all in sequence and not like one by one. That's very good. Minefield Support now it can have up to 1 additional remote mines, 4 additional mines placed at a time. Now throw up to 4 additional mines, but they have less mine throwing speed. Minion and Totem Elemental Resistance, guys, now renamed to the Elemental Army Support. No longer supports Totems. That's pretty bad because, you know, Spell Totem and the multiple Totem shit just kind of... Spell Totem is kind of squishy by default, so it's very hard to keep them alive. I usually link the resistance with the Animated Guardian and the Totem at the same time, so they can live a little bit longer, but now this is not the case. At the same time, minions from the supported skills now inflict exposure on hit, applying -10 to the elemental resistance, and at the same time they deal up to 29% more elemental damage. This is pretty badass for the squishy golems with some conversion. At the same time, this is extremely strong for the golem builds. I think this probably will be one of the best things for the golem builds. Reduced mana support, and guys, this is very interesting thing. This is what I'm considering for some of the builds. Is now called Inspiration Support. In addition to its prior mana reduction functionality, you get an inspiration charge when you spend mana for supported skills. You can get up to 5 charges. Inspiration charge deals 5% more elemental damage per charge, up to 8 at level 20. So this is 40% more elemental damage. That's pretty fucking big. It's almost like, you know, elemental focus, and 7% increased critical strike chance per charge. So at 10% at level 20, so that's 50% increase critical strike chance and 40% increase elemental damage. That's pretty fucking big. I think it would be very, very important gem for the kind of mana intense casting skills. The gem balance advanced trap support now grants supporter skills 50% increase cooldown recovery at gem level 1 up from 15. It was 15, now it's 50. Imagine the fucking buff of this, guys. And Kestrel Call support has also been buffed and it has no penalty at gem level 20 from 16% less. So it's absolutely a GG support now for the strike skills. Mana Leech support now only causes support at attacks to reach mana. Like I said, they are completely removing everything, every source of mana leech on the tree or on the gems. They are forcing us to use the mana flasks. Minion speed support has been dramatically increased. Look at that, 25% increase minion cast speed and 44% increase attack speed at level 20. This is ridiculous. It's almost twice as more attack speed as before. This is pretty fucking good. Multi-strike is not as terrible, by the way. It's 10% less attack damage now. It is actually 10% less, which is better than 30% less, because I know when they revamped multi-strike, no one was giving a shit about it. It was pretty bad, and the increased attack speed does not surpass the debuff, and this 30% less attack damages was absolutely giant. Minus multiplier was not worth using, but now probably can be used again. Poison support, guys. This is probably the most important thing for any poison build round. Look at that. Skills now 20% more damage with poison. From absolutely nothing to 39. 30% more at level 20. This is insane. This is probably what will be used on any poison skills, any poison build, and I specifically want to check the damage on my Toxic Rain Pathfinder build, because I believe this will be the gem to go. Pulverized support. Pulverized support has been dramatically nerfed. It has a chance to increase area effect from the more area effect, and even though I got more area damage, it's still kind of shit now. I mean, it's kind of weird. I see no reason to nerf Pulverize, guys. It's pretty weird. Trap support, look at that. Supported skills now deal increased trap damage as the gems level up to 38% increased trap damage. GG, traps are still fucking good. Now we're going to the passive tree balance. The skill gems are done, guys. There's not much to go there. Mortal Conviction now specifies that only non-banner and non-mind skills reserve no mana, because, you know, like I said, mind skills now actually are like in auras, and they actually reserve mana now when you throw them. Now to the buffs. A lot of kind of attacking melee nodes has got a melee range, because, you know, this is good for the attack skills and for strike skills, and is extremely strong for the glacial hammer build that I created about a month ago. I really suffered from absolutely non-existent range on this glacial hammer, but these things probably will change everything for the better. I can't wait to check it out, by the way. Leadership now grants 30% increase aura effect from 50. Champions of the cause grants 12% increase aura effect from 20. These are nerfed simply because we have more arrow effectiveness on the skill gems themselves. These are the Ascendency Balance, and like I said, there's a multiple things that are nerfed in the buff, and to be honest, Ascendant has been mostly nerfed because the Ascendancy that the Ascendant uses has been nerfed as well. The only thing that was probably buffed is Sab Penetration has been buffed, but at the same time the regeneration has been dramatically nerfed, and the Assassin has been nerfed again from the crit strike chance from 1 to 0.75. I see absolutely no fucking reason to even have some kind of crit strike chance as low as this on the Ascendant anymore. The Necromancer has also been nerfed as well, so I think the Ascendant got overall like shitty now. Berserker has been also nerfed, guys. There's one thing that has been moved to the Warbringer, which is the chance to deal double damage. Crave the Slaughter no longer has the chance to deal double damage, but if you walk right recently, you get the double damage, which is I use personally, so my build wasn't nerfed. Flawless Savagery got a hit though, but personally, it's not that crazy of a deal. Chieftain is no more burning damage, but grants 5 damage over time multiply. Guardian has been reworked a lot, and now grants a resistance. Now grants increased damage, and overall Guardian is an absolutely perfect stakeout, except for the Mana Guardian, which I explain later. Hierophant has been reworked as well. Divine Guidance no longer grants flat maximum mana, gains 30% increase. Maximum mana that causes increased interaction to mana applied to the damage. That's pretty fucking good. Sanctuary of Thought, however, now grants a 50% less mana cost of skill rather than reduced. That's a nerf actually. Raider, nothing but the fucking buffs, guys. It's pretty crazy. I already did the video about the Raider. Saboteur, Pyromaniac has been nerfed, and region has been destroyed from 20 max to 10 max. I don't see the reason, and probably will be changed during the leak. I hope so. Trickster has also been nerfed. The Ghost Shroud keep nerfing again and again. Slayer has been nerfed. The base crit went from 8 to 7.5, as well as these increased attack speed on Bane of Legends has been down as well. Occultist, Vile Bastion now has 40% flash ES per second, which is kind of a stun golem running around. Item balance, Spectres now identified as a separate one-handed maces, finally. Eldron shaped gloves can no longer roll traps and mines, guys. This is a big change because previously this is the kind of must-have to roll for any miner and trapper, but now it's not the case. Staffs have a big flat max mana amount over there, which is also pretty interesting. Vance, Scepter, Staffs, Rune Daggers, and Pure Intelligence Shields can now roll modifiers which affect the levels of all skill gems of a certain type, not just those sockets within the item. They can no longer roll the modifiers which solely affect socket. So basically, a lot of things can now roll all skill gems of a certain type, like for example, minions or whatever there is, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I can't wait to see where they roll, guys. One more buff is the items with the Matatl prefix now grants +1 to the level of trap skill gems, now also apply to the mine skill gems. Previously it was impossible. Once again, this mod can no longer appear in the 100s, but the 200s from the Temple of Atziotl can roll this, which is a good thing. The Labyrinth boost had been previously granted life in Mana Leech, now grants only life. And once again, life in Mana region only grants life region. Both were nerfed. The Labyrinth enchanted with Tornado Shot now only grants the Uber Lab, as well as from +2 to +1. However, existing items with this enchantment are unaffected, guys. So +2 Tornado Shot Helms has become an absolutely priceless thing now. Priceless. Resonators now stack. They have a stack size of 10 in a normal stash type. Holy shit! And the primitive resonators can step up to 5,000. Oh my god, finally, I've been wanting this forever. Now to the nerfs. Using a bout fossil to craft boots will no longer grant +1 to the maximum of Spectres. It instead now grants +1 to the level of race Spectre gems. This also affects existing pairs of boots within this modifier. That's pretty bad, guys. It means that you can get Spectre on the boots, and the only question for me personally is if you can still get the Delph Spectre chest. If you can get the fucking Delph Spectre chest, then we have a fucking problem now with the Spectres. So basically, -1 Spectre now. Essence of Rage, Spite, and Sorrow can no longer provide additional levels to socketed gems and instead grant resistance penetration to the associated elements. So what it means is you can craft a +2 fire staff for the SRS, guys. Unfortunately, it's now impossible, and if you crafted one, this is probably your GG staff. At the same time, staffs can roll up to +2, +3 to all gems now, and probably this league we will surpass even the firepower for the SRS compared to the previous league. So it's not that bad. It's just that you don't need to craft the fire anymore. Alright, the Mana Leech while affected by Wrath is now Energy Shield Leech instead while affected by Wrath. This is absolutely bad thing, guys, because, you know, I had this gem on my Shock Nova build specifically, and unfortunately it will not be there anymore. However, these changes do not affect existing items and cannot be obtained with the Divine Orb, so you can divine this shit, it's fixed, but unfortunately I need to find a way to sustain a Shock Nova once again for my Shock Nova build. The Poet's Pen has been somewhat changed. The cooldown on it changed from 0.25, like 4 attacks per second, to more like 6 attacks per second, and it only mostly depends on the end of the attack rather than the start. So you need a shit ton of attack speed now for the Poet's Pen to make it work. Femurs of the Saints no longer causes the minions to regenerate life, no longer increase minion attack speed, no longer minion duration. At the same time, it now causes to deal increased minion damage and grants chance to block per skeleton, 2% increase attacking cast speed per raging spirit, and 0.6% of life regen per second per race zombie, and 30% increased mana regen per spectre. That's a very actually interesting change to the shitty Femurs of the Saints, although I kinda doubt it will be very usable now. The big fucking change and nerf to the Vis Mortis no longer has +1 to the race Spectres. This is absolutely disgusting. At the same time, causes minions to gain up to 20% of elemental damage as extra chaos damage, and since you run, for example, Solar Guards, which are pure fire, they gain 20% more damage, literally. But no, less one Spectre is the big thing, as Vis Mortis was always a mandatory crucial leveling unique for these Spectres, and I have fucking no idea what she'll be using now. Violent Death can no longer drop or be obtained for a quest. Violent Death was the gem to use with the zombies, which reduce the cooldown on their slam attack, guys, as far as I can remember. And once again, since the slam attack has been moved over to the zombie gem, but unfortunately it's just not enough to really reduce it to the point where it becomes as viable as it was prior to having the Violent Death. So without this gem, I'm really questioning the Zombie Mensa build, how viable it is now. Probably is still, but not as before. Healthy Mind limited to 1. Mana Guardians, goodbye. Mana Guardians, thank you. Bones of Ulor no longer increases the maximum number of zombies or specters you can have. Instead now grants +1 to the level of zombies and specters. Once again, guys, a fucking nerf. Bones of Ulor was a cheap, strong, leveling and pretty much the end game boots, but now they are gone and I have no fucking idea what we can do now. There's no boots with specters anymore in the game. And I think this change is pretty bad for the specters. Assuming the Spectres themselves didn't really get as much stronger, they got less life, pretty much the same accuracy, maybe higher damage, but at the same time, you know, the less amount of Spectres is pretty bad, especially for the leveling, where you can get the Delve chest, you can get the level 20 Spectre gem. How the fuck are you supposed to run the game with one Spectre alone, with 1-2 Spectres? Because you can get 1 Spectre on the gem, 1 Spectre on the tree, and this is it. You can't have anything else. So not only it makes the Delve Spectre chest, if it still exists in the game, is extremely expensive, but it kind of makes Spectre leveling extremely harder, way harder than it was before. Queen's Decree now causes minions to have 40% increased max life, a big increase and increased damage. Existing versions of the item can be updated with the Divine Orb. This probably will be the best leveling thing right now. Midnight Bargain dramatically increased minion damage and movement speed as well. Aracalis Fang also has been increased. Berg's Grip no longer grants 1% of damage leached as mana against frozen enemies, instead grants energy shield leech against frozen mana. This is very shitty. This literally kills my Shock Nova build. I have no fucking idea how I'm supposed to leech mana anymore in this build. Dead Reckoning Now turns 15 skeleton warriors into skeleton mages from 5, and now limited to 1. And this is, guys, this makes the skeleton mages build probably one of the best builds in the game for the skeletons, because it is easier now. You can stack more jewels instead of stacking a shit ton of the Dead Reckoning. You can stack one fucking jewel and a good to go. And this is probably one of the builds that I will be include in my next videos. From Dust also now allows you to summon 4 additional skeletons at a time from 2. Existing versions can be also updated. Curtain Call, this is a big question, guys, for the miners. I've been waiting for this. Curtain Call now requires that you have at least 800 intelligence. 800 intelligence or dexterity. Holy shit. Oh my god, 800 fucking intelligence or dexterity. That's ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. 800. Jesus Christ. That's ridiculous. A Tremor Rod no longer causes you to deal 30% less mine damage, no longer grants increased mine laying speed, now grants +2 to level of socketed spell gems. That's insane! That's fucking insane, that's so good! Guys, this probably will be the best sought up thing during the fucking start of the league. I will be wanting this so much. Alright, the crafting changes were going to an end. Veil Flask modifiers now only need to be unveiled once to be crafted. Finally, this is the Mastermind Flask. Immortal Syndicate member-specific recipes now require half as many unveilings to be unlocked. Good. The mana cost reduction crafted modifier, Elrion Rings, has been split into the 2 separate modifiers, one for channeling and one for the non-channeling skill mana cost. Each has 3 ranks. Goodbye, Cyclone. Re-added the flat energy shield crafted modifiers for rings and amulet that mysteriously vanished. Yeah, I was questioning myself, where did they go, and everyone as well. So now they are back. The little more energy shield is there, guys. And curtain changes reduce the life of the Vaal Advocates and enhance Vaal Fallens by 25%. This is a bit of a weird nerf, assuming that these kind of Spectres were not very popular, but at the same time, this is pretty weird. They're still nerfing them, guys. Vaal Advocates are pretty cool. Betrayal Changes. Upon completing the Mastermind encounter, you'll now have access to a reward room for every single Immortal Syndicate member. So that's about 14 fucking rooms of rewards, and you will have a stash tab, a stash over there, because you will fucking need it. This is pretty badass, and this probably Mastermind will be totally worth doing now. Save houses now also have a buff to increase experience from the monsters, and the Mastermind save house has 200% increased experience from the monsters. This will be pretty good for the XP. Azeroth Mine. Voltaxis Sulfite is now shared across all characters on the same account and in the same league. The Tunnel Nicodix will be also balanced around the max level character, and the rate of the level growth for monsters within the Azeroth Mine is now faster, requiring significantly fewer depths to hit the maximum monster levels within the mine. This was a big issue when you had 2 characters and you successfully out-level the mine, and you had to go for all these shitty like low level mines to go to your desirable level of monsters. But now this is not the case. This is actually a fantastic change, guys. Prophecy. If you're lucky, Zana will now offer 5 unique maps as part of the missions. Each map contains a boss encounter originally from the Synthesis, and each can drop unique items originally from the Synthesis. This is absolutely fantastic. So it means that the Circles of Nostalgia ring for the Toxic Rain Pathfinder build can be found once again, guys. This is very good. And one of the last changes is that the bosses of the Larian Dark Forest, which is the Rigwald, will spend more time in the human form and potentially can be one-shotted. At the same time, the user interface has been changing for especially the currency. We can have slots for the Harbingers, Ancient Orbs, Orbs of Binding, Engineer Orbs, and we can store Pyrannoscopes out of 50,000, and slots for the Legion Splinters, Emblems, and Scarabs out of Fragment Stash tab. This is absolutely good. And the last but not the least is that we can scroll between stash tabs by holding Control and using a mouse wheel. Yay! We got it to the end, right? Yeah, we got it to the end, guys. You see, it's an absolutely ridiculous length of shit, but I tried to kind of compress into these most important things, and hopefully now you have the full understanding what is going on. As for me, I'm personally concerned about this the viability of the Spectres. Originally, I expected some kind of a nerf, but now I think there's a nerf pretty hard. At the same time, there is definitely more damage on the tree, but the amount of Spectres that they can summon now is kind of very doubtful. You run with one Spectre, when again 2 Spectres, and that's about it. At the same time, previously you can run like 4 Spectres with Vis Mortis and the Bonzavul. Now can run 2 all the time till you get some kind of a crazy delve chest. So Spectres for me are under question now personally. Mines are in great place. Cyclone has been nerfed, and a lot of things has been fixed for the best, but some are still questionable, like the nerf to the Saboteur region, which is, I don't know why they did this. What do you guys think about these changes? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for watching the video. Your likes and dislikes, especially, as they push me forward even more. If you want to see more content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I do daily uploads of role-playing content, being it builds, guides, let's play, stream highlights, and upcoming RPG games. Also, don't forget to follow my Twitch stream to catch me live in action. I do stream daily on working days. I'm a full-time YouTube content creator and a Twitch streamer too, so if you want to support me, you can do it either from Twitch or by PayPal directly from my website angryroleplayer.com. Join my Discord channel too for a place to discuss RPG things offline, as well as follow my Twitter to be notified on any new content. If you want to get extra information like sneak peeks into upcoming videos, plans, different behind-the-scenes footage, you can also join the Unholy Army on Patreon as well, guys. Thank you very much once again for watching, listening to all this. See you soon.